Hi, hello there. My name is Kayla and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. In today's video, we're going to be going over my entire blush collection. I have so many blushes here and I just thought I would share with you guys what are my favorite, what are my not so favorite ones. Basically give you guys opinions on all of the blushes that I currently have right now. Disclaimer, you do not need this many blushes in your life. I know that I have a pretty fair amount of blush. However, I do know that I do not have near as many blush products as other people do. But you know what? This is my passion. I love collecting. I'm a collector. Hoarder, but hopefully this video gives you guys a little inspiration, and if you're in the market for a new blush, hopefully this shows you what are my favorites and what I think would be worth your money. I have everything here ranging from high-end to drugstore. I'm going to be filming this video looking directly at the blushes, so you won't really be seeing my face throughout this video. That may be a good or a bad thing to some of you. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I went ahead and put all my blushes out here on display for you guys. I went ahead and made a high-end side and a drugstore side. As you can tell, here in this household, we are predominantly drugstore leaning. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go over all my drugstore ones with you guys, tell you which ones from the drugstore or which ones that are affordable are my favorites and least favorites, and then we'll move on to the high end. We're basically going to be doing sort of like a ranking system. So let's go ahead and get started with the drugstore side. Alright, so as you can see here, I have 4 Colourpop blushes. This one is from their Wild Nothing collection, from the Coral collection, and then from the Garden Variety collection. I'll go ahead and just open them all up here for you. Alright, so this is just what they look like all opened up. Definitely the one that stands out the most is the Sailor Moon one. As you can tell, I have barely used it because I want to keep the little embossing intact on it. However, if we were ranking blushes by packaging, the Sailor Moon one hands down would rule all of them. It is just so cute. This is the one in the shade Cat's Eye, and I've used this probably 2 or 3 times. It does look really good on the skin. However, I just want to keep it as is, and I will probably never declutter this just because of how cute and adorable it is. Yeah, if we were in a packaging competition, this one would win. So here we have 3 blushes from the Wild Nothing collection, Coral collection, and Garden Variety. I have to say the one that I use quite the most is this one right here from the Wild Nothing collection, and this is in the shade Crossroads. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the Colourpop blushes. I do really enjoy using them. However, this one, Crossroads, is just a super unique shade. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I really enjoy using it. It just looks really interesting, looks really good on my skin, and I think these 2 would be my favorite Colourpop highlighters. So I'm gonna go ahead and set these aside and we'll move these on to the final round of blushes. Yeah, okay. Alright, so here are my other drugstore blushes. The most notable, I have 2 Milani ones. This one is in the shade Romantic Rose. It is this mauve sort of pink color, and then I have my favorite. This is in the shade Luminoso. If you haven't heard anything about this one is super popular and for good reason. Let me just go ahead and open it up for you. Alright, so this is what it looks like here. It is this absolutely beautiful sort of shiny pink color. I don't know how else to describe it. It's definitely a luminous blush. I have repurchased this probably 3 or 4 times. It is just so beautiful, looks great on the skin. I absolutely love it and will continue to hold on to it. This one from Milani in Romantic Rose. It is pretty. However, I just feel like I don't get the same sort of pigmentation with this one as I do with Illuminoso. Illuminoso is just a little easier to use. It looks better on my skin. This Romantic Rose one, I may end up go ahead and declutter it. But if you are looking for a really amazing blush from the drugstore, I would highly recommend Milani Illuminoso. And this one has been said to be a dupe for the NARS Orgasm blush. So we'll go ahead and move this one on to our final round of drugstore favorites. Alright, so next up I have this sort of blush bronzer duo from Pacifica. I actually got this in an Ipsy glam bag. There's nothing wrong with it. However, it's just a little bit too dark for me. It is really pretty, very pigmented. However, I feel like I just couldn't make it work on my skin tone. So I would say this is more of for medium to deep skin tones. There's a mirror on the back. Hi! And Pacifica is a really amazing vegan and cruelty-free brand. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one, and I may be able to give it to a friend or something. I'm not quite sure. I just don't want to get rid of it because I hardly used it. But you know, that's the thing, is I don't really use it just because it's not like a good shade for me. All right, moving on, we have this Wet n Wild little face palette here. It came with 2 blushes, 2 highlighters. There's nothing necessarily wrong with this. However, just like with the Pacifica that I mentioned earlier, these just aren't really my shades. The packaging is absolutely adorable, and I'll probably end up keeping it because of, I mean, the Sanrio packaging. Alright, so next up we have a couple of little randoms here. Well, not really randoms, but you know what I mean. So first we have this Almay blush. This is in the shade Pink, just 10 Pink. This is just what it looks like here. There's nothing wrong with it. It's really pretty. I really like the little star sort of embossed in it. However, I just don't use it. I'm more of into peachy pink blushes, and this is more of just like a true sort of Barbie pink. So if that's what you're into, then I would recommend this to you if you're into just like true pink blushes. However, this is just not my flavor, and I don't know, I may end up decluttering it, but I just never use this. Alright, so next up, just like with the Almay blush, this is one from Catrice. This is in the shade Glistening Pink, and this is what it looks like here. It's a really pretty blush. For some reason I feel like this one has just kind of gotten lost in the mix. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a really pretty peachy pink blush. I think I stopped using it because it just wouldn't last very long on my cheeks, but it is really pretty. I don't know. I haven't used it in a really long time, so I may end up decluttering this one. Next up, we have this I Heart Revolution. I don't even know if you would call this a blush. That's what it was marketed as. This is what the inside of it looks like. I actually did a review on this a couple months back, but I am swirling my whole finger in it, and it is just a powdery highlighter, I guess you could say. And this is what it looks like swatched. It's very powdery. I don't really use it. I'm probably gonna go ahead and declutter this I Heart Revolution one. Alright, next up we have one of my favorites here. This is LA Girl Just Blushing Blush in the shade Just Natural. This blush is the absolute most perfect pinky blush I have ever tried. This is probably my most favorite affordable drugstore blush. This only costs like $2 or $3, and it is just the perfect peachy matte color. I absolutely love it. I have repurchased this blush probably 3 or 4 times. Crazy, but it is just so beautiful. It goes well on the skin. It doesn't emphasize texture. It is the perfect matte peachy pink color. I think this would be flattering on a whole bunch of different skin tones. And if you're looking for a good peachy pink blush but don't want to spend a whole lot of money, I would highly recommend this one from LA Girl. So this one we will put in our finalist group. And next up we have this blush from Lottie London. This is the Blush Crush in the shade Drake. There's nothing necessarily wrong with this. However, I just kind of stopped. Oh my god, it broke. I just stopped using it. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my favorite. I felt like it was hard to get pigmentation from it, and I'll probably end up keeping it and trying to make it work. However, I don't know, it got lost in the mix, but I will go ahead and keep it, and we'll just put that off to the side. Alright, so here we have my top 4 drugstore blushes. We have Colourpop and Crossroads, LA Girl and Just Natural, Milani Luminoso, and the Colourpop Sailor Moon and Cat's Eyes. Out of these 4, oh man, it's really hard to say. So out of these 4, it's really hard to say which one is my favorite. The 2 I've repurchased the most are definitely the LA Girl and the Milani. They are so affordable, very pigmented, last all day. I would highly recommend these. You can pick up LA Girl and Milani at Ulta. I know they carry Milani at most Walmarts and CVS's. So if you are just looking for convenience, I would highly go with the Milani one. The 2 Colourpop ones, you can buy them from colourpop.com. They are very affordable. I believe they're in the $7 to $8 range. So it's hard to say which one is my absolute favorite. If we're talking about packaging, hands down, it's gonna be the Colourpop Sailor Moon. But if we're talking about actual product, I think it's hard to say. Okay, if we're talking about actual color and product, it's going to be a tie between LA Girl and Milani. Milani I just use whenever I'm looking for a more luminous blush sort of day, and LA Girl is what I use when I'm looking just for a matte blush kind of day. So they're both good in those sort of ways. They both hold their own sort of characters, and yeah, I really enjoy these 2 the most. Alright, so moving on to the high-end side, we have 3 Cover FX ones. I only have 3 of them because one of them arrived broken when I ordered it, and I reached out to Ulta customer service and they were kind enough to send me one that isn't broken. I have 2 from Benefit, a NARS Duo, Tarte, and a MAC. The one I've probably had the longest is this MAC one. This is in the shade Petal Power, and I will go ahead and open it up for you. So this is what it looks like opened up. It is super pretty, very luminous, comparable to the Milani Luminoso. However, I would say this one has more gold reflect in it than the Milani one. This is absolutely beautiful. I would say it's comparable to the NARS Orgasm blush. However, I like this MAC one in Petal Power a lot more than the NARS one, and I will tell you why, because I have this NARS Orgasm Duo here. Let me go ahead and open it up. Alright, so here we have the MAC Petal Power and NARS Orgasm. This is just in a little mini duo size, and I'm gotta say, I don't know what it is about this one. I don't know if it's because it is a miniature formula or something, but I find whenever I put it on my cheeks, it is just so patchy. Let me go ahead and swatch it for you. Alright, so here I went ahead and swatched the MAC one. The MAC one is on the left and the NARS one is on the right. As you can see here, the MAC one is a lot more pigmented. It went on a lot smoother. The NARS one, however, is just so lackluster. And I know a lot of people say amazing things about this NARS Orgasm blush. However, I don't know if it's just because of the miniature formula or what, but I did not like it at all. I may go ahead and declutter this just because I never use it. I never reach for it. It doesn't work, and I don't enjoy it just hanging around here. So bye, NARS. Alright, so next up I have this blush from Tarte. This is in the shade Peaceful. Let me go ahead and open it up, and this is what it looks like. It is definitely a true pink shade. There's nothing wrong with this blush, however, I just don't really reach for it that often. I will go ahead and keep it and just try using it some more. But Tarte blushes are really good. They're pretty pigmented. They stay on all day. For some reason, I just don't use this one. I'm not sure why. It is really pretty. And I'm going to go ahead and try using it more often. So next up, we have 2 Benefit blushes. This one is in California, and this one is in Georgia. I'll go ahead and open them up for you. Alright, and this is what they look like together. California is definitely a corally, peachy blush. Georgia, I was really disappointed with, not gonna lie. Whenever I put it on, it is just not pigmented at all, and it is so sad because looking at it, it looks like it would be this really pretty peachy shade. However, it just doesn't really do anything, and it's really sad. I am gonna keep it and try to make it work because this blush, it does smell really good. If you have a sensitivity towards fragrances, I would not recommend this blush because I can smell it from here. It smells really good. It does smell like luxurious, I guess you could say. However, yeah, I just can't get it to show up on my cheeks, and I need to figure out what I need to do to make this work because it's really pretty and I want this blush to work. With this one, I used to love it. I used to use it all the time. Now I don't really see myself reaching for it that often. However, it is still really a great blush. Very pigmented. It shows up on your cheeks and lasts a really long time. And yeah, I just need to try and play around with this one more. Alright, so next up I have 3 blushes from Cover FX. I'm going to go ahead and open them up for you guys and show you what they look like. This is just the packaging of one. I thought I would go ahead and show you guys what the packaging looks like since I have one in the packaging. But I have ones in the shades Pink Dahlia and Soft Peach, and I will go ahead and open them up for you. Alright you guys, so here are the blushes opened up. As you can see here, like I said earlier, this one arrived broken. However, I've still been using it just because I don't really want it to go to waste. Here they are. We have Pink Dahlia and Soft Peach, and you guys, hands down, these Cover FX Monochromatic blush duos are my absolute favorite when it comes to high-end blushes. They are just so beautiful, so pigmented, so shiny. I love that you get a luminous side and a matte side. They're absolutely gorgeous on your cheeks. They last all day. Very pigmented. My favorite one of the two is the Soft Peach one. I am currently wearing this right now, as you saw in the beginning of the video. I've been using this consistently since I purchased them several months ago, and they are incredible. Honestly, hands down the best blushes I have ever tried. These are going into my like holy grail favorites of 2020. I would highly recommend these to you. They're heavy, they feel luxurious, they're so beautiful, and I would highly recommend these to you if you've never tried them out. They are a bit expensive. I believe they're in the $30 to $40 range. However, you do get a ton of product. You get a luminous side and a matte side, and they're so good. Highly recommend them. Alright, so here we go, you guys. These are my top 4 favorite blushes of all time, or at least of 2020. I have been using these 2 drugstore blushes, the Milani Luminoso and the LA Girl Just Natural, for several years now. They're incredible. As you can tell, I do have a theme when it comes to blush color. I do lean more towards the pinky peachy side. Those are just the ones that I find look best on my skin tone, but these are my top 4 blushes of all time. So good. Highly recommend these to you. Don't feel the need to go out and buy these Cover FX ones. If you are just getting into makeup, I would highly recommend checking out the Milani or the LA Girl one before you purchase these Cover FX ones, just to see what tone you like better on your skin, what colors you like better before you go out and purchase one for $30 to $40. Because this Milani one and this LA Girl one, while they are still affordable, they are pretty comparable to the Cover FX ones. They just don't have the sort of softness that the Cover FX ones have, I guess you could say, and they probably just don't last as long as the Cover FX ones. However, the Milani and the LA Girl one are absolutely beautiful. I would highly recommend those to you if you are on a budget, if you're just starting out with makeup. And I have repurchased these several times throughout the years, and I could not recommend these enough to you. Alright you guys, so that is it. That is my entire blush collection. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your favorite blushes? Do you have any recommendations for me? Do you enjoy some of the blushes that I do as well? Do you not like some of them? Let me know if you guys would like to see more more videos like this. I do plan on doing like an eyeshadow palette collection video, maybe even like a foundation and concealer collection, skincare. Let me know if that would interest you in the comments down below. Everything that I have on my face will be linked in the description box down below, as well as all of my social medias. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye!